Hey everyone, Austin here again with another Let's Play video. Today it's going to be MUSHA for the Sega Genesis, a fairly well-regarded shoot-'em-up for the system. Fairly early shoot-'em-up as well, and pretty impressive for the time actually. And I'll kind of go into that as we play the game. Really great looking game, really great sounding game, really lots of fun to play. But yeah! I've actually done a Let's Play on this in the past. I actually also did a previous long play as well, one of the earliest long plays I ever did. What we're going to be doing here, though, is a re-record, thanks to having new updated capture hardware, but also we're going to be doing a twist, very much like my Castlevania Bloodlines playthrough. We're going to be cranking this up to the hardest difficulty mode. This is going to be a crapshoot, to be honest with you. MUSHA on its hardest difficulty is very, very difficult, and probably for all the wrong reasons. And I'll sort of explain that as we get into it. But we'll try it, we'll see how it goes. You know, cross your fingers for me, let's hope for the best. I'll go ahead and just let the rest of this story roll out as well. But yeah, man, really nice visuals. This game came out in 1990, mind you, and a lot of Genesis games at this time period didn't even bother going all out with story and stuff like this, and visual backdrops and things like that. And for them to do it in a shmup, nonetheless, is, I think, really something. Yeah, the game definitely still holds up quite nicely, visually speaking, and it's definitely quite awesome to look at. So, letting this roll out. But alright, that's it. That's the introduction. And as usual, guys, before I start off here, I'd like to give a big shout out to my current Patreon backers. So they're going to flash by the screen. Thank you guys for your continued patronage. It's much appreciated. Also, we're going to flash by the recent live stream Super Chatters. I do a weekly live stream here on YouTube every week, and these guys are basically doing direct donations through that. So thank you guys for your support. And yeah. So let's go ahead and crank up the difficulty to hard, and you've got a sound test here as well. One of my favorite things about this game is sometimes when I'm in the game room just working on stuff, I'll just have this game up on my Genesis and it'll just be blaring the music through my sound system here. But yeah, let's go ahead and do this. So we're on the hard mode. This is basically the hardest difficulty in the game, and it is quite challenging. Now, there's a couple different things that we're gonna be focusing on here. First, we're gonna pause the game, and when you press left and right, you can adjust your speed settings. Now, normally when I play on the regular difficulty mode, I'm usually at around the 4, but on hard, I crank it up all the way. And so what we're going to do here is try not to die, and I want to go ahead and collect these pods right here. I'm going to shoot these and then collect these. Collecting these pods gives you your little, I should say, collecting those capsules or canisters gives you these pods, these helper pods on the side. And you've got multiple different attack patterns and forms that you can go by with these guys. And we just picked up a laser power-up. This is a sub-weapon, and you can activate that by pressing B. And for the most part, we're just going to be activating both our main firepower and our sub-weapons at the same time. Although I am going to switch over to a different pattern with my, my side pods. So let's go ahead and actually do that right now. So you've got three-way right here. You've got reversal, kind of like this, or it's called back, but I mean reversal as in it shoots backwards. Now you've got the actual reverse function, which basically just, you know, it shoots in the opposite direction that you're moving. So you notice how like the pods are just constantly going all over the place. I'm gonna go ahead and skip the blue power-up. It's actually my preferred power-up in this game. But for this first level, we're going to go ahead and just stick it out with the green laser here. Because the green laser gets pretty large, and there's a lot of green laser power-ups. Let's go ahead and hit A again to switch our pod formation. This is roll. It basically just alternates around you. Not the best one, not my favorite one. And then we've got free, which is it just homes in on enemies. Now, this is good and it's bad. It's bad because it'll get right in front of the pods will get right in front of enemies, and it's more likely to take bullets to the face. And when that happens, your pods get destroyed, and you have a limited amount of pods. The amount of pods you have is completely based on how many canisters you pick up. Now, one of the big things about MUSHA on hard mode is that bullets are insanely fast in this game. So you really want to just either have enemies not shoot at all, or just be prepared to position yourself at the right spots on the screen in order to avoid the projectiles. A lot of enemies in this game will either shoot one bullet at you or two, or it'll be like a three-way spread shot or something like that. So not too difficult to avoid if you know what enemies do. And I actually ended up picking up the fire power-up by accident. I actually didn't mean to do that, but it's actually pretty solid. I prefer it in its second-to-last power-up state, which it is right now. And it'll basically just go all the way across the screen like this, which is very handy. But did you notice those homing missiles that those guys shot out at me? Those are my arch nemesis. The homing missiles in this game are absolutely horrendous. And very, very difficult to deal with, unfortunately. And that's going to either make or break this run. And you guys will see exactly what I mean as we get into it. Alright, so I'm not going to pick up that flame power-up. I actually want to leave it at this this level 3. Or level 4. What is it? Arm level 3. It's arm level 3. It actually says in the top left-hand portion of the screen. But as far as the homing missiles are concerned, you want to try to destroy the homing missiles if you can. And this is sort of a mini-boss fight right here. We're going to go ahead and try to take out these pods on the side. Just like that. And there we go. Good deal. So there's a really, really important mechanic you have to know in this game when you intend on trying to play it on hard mode. And that is, when you have a sub-weapon, so for me, I've got the napalm attack or fire attack or whatever you want to call it. If I take a hit, I lose that. The sub-weapon I have effectively acts as a shield. It absorbs one hit, and then when I take that hit, I lose it. And then any other hits after that, I die instantly. And when you die in this game, you lose all of your firepower. You go back down to level 1. So dying, I should say not dying, is really important in this game. But unfortunately, it's easier said than done. Let's go ahead and do reverse. And I actually just took a hit. So I lost my sub-weapon. Look at how fast those bullets are coming down. Oh no, I didn't lose it. I thought I lost it. Whew. I wasn't paying attention. So look at how fast this guy's projectiles are coming down as well. On the normal difficulty mode, he's a cakewalk. He's a super easy boss. And I guess you could say he's still not that hard right now compared to later bosses in the game, but, I mean, you've got to be on point. You've got to have your speed maxed out. There's no weaving in between, you know, that spread shot he was doing. Alright, so I'd say that was a decent first stage. I didn't die. I didn't lose any weapons or anything. So, not too bad. And let's go ahead and do forward. And I'll show you why I don't like level 4 on this weapon. Is it basically sort of makes this black hole appear. And that can be good because you can suck enemies towards the middle of the screen. But in later parts of the game, you actually don't really want to do that. It'll make controlling the rhythm and flow of, you know, the enemies on the playfield much more difficult. So what we're going to do is we're going to actually switch over to our blue shot. It's actually technically not a shot normally. Normally it's just a blue shield. But what's great about the maxed out level of the shield is that it also fires across the screen. It's not the most powerful thing, but I find it to be a good sort of median power-up, where you know, it provides protection around me, but it also acts as a projectile at the same time. And this is a little mini boss right here. You just want to smack him in the face as fast as possible. One of the things I love about the soundtrack in this game is that the music is, and I don't know if this was intentional, I assume it was, where the music sort of peaks at just the right moment. So this soundtrack, this backing tune has a tendency of peaking right at that first mini-boss, and it's just, it really makes for quite an epic combination of visuals and sounds. It's very, very cinematic in that way. MUSHA is actually kind of a cinematic shmup. It's one of the earliest cinematic shmups I can even think of. In terms of you know, its level pacing, it's the combination of the music, you know, stacked on top of whatever's happening on screen, and then it's obviously got the in-game story and stuff like that as well, which kind of adds to that. And MUSHA's not the kind of shooter where it's all about like super fast dodging, weaving between bullets and stuff like that. It's not really about that. It's about taking enemies out as fast as possible and enjoying the ride, I should say. Although I don't know if playing on hard mode is really necessarily a good way to enjoy the ride, as you guys will probably see in a couple of stages here. Hard mode gets really tough, and a lot of its difficulty stems from things like the homing missiles, which are very difficult to destroy, and enemies that just really start to tank. I mean, enemies will start to take a crazy amount of hits to take out. And you really feel like you're at a major disadvantage when you're playing this on hard mode. Like, you do not feel powerful at all. When you play it on normal, you feel powerful. You feel like you're in control of the whole experience. But on hard mode, you feel like you're a complete newbie at this game, even if you're an expert. Okay, let's go back to the reverse. There we go. See, what I mean by like not weaving between bullets in this game is just they come out so quickly, you're better off just going completely around them. Alright, so 2 levels in, decent so far, but the thing about this game is that on hard mode, my run can go downhill instantly. You know, usually around stage 4. So again, we'll just kind of see what happens there. Now you'll notice I'm not picking up these power-ups. If I'm already maxed out, there's no reason to pick them up. And what I like to do is I like to leave them out in case I take a hit. If I take a hit and one of those power-ups is still out, I can grab it immediately, basically get my shield back, my little buffer room. Remember, having a sub-weapon is a shield. You know, not only is it offensive, but it also doubles as a hit absorption. It absorbs 1 hit. You lose your weapon as a result. But that's extremely important. It was actually a mechanic that is featured in a lot of different Alesta games. So MUSHA in Japan was actually a part of the Alesta series. So Alesta started, you know, well before MUSHA came out on various Japanese home computers and whatnot. And it had other versions like Power Strike on the Sega Master System that was a part of the Alesta series. And that mechanic was shared in a lot of those games. And it's also shared in another one that Compile made, Space Megaforce on the Super Nintendo, or Super Alesta, as it was known as in Japan. So Space Megaforce is also part of the Alesta series. And so a lot of Compile's games in this series use very similar mechanics. So it's very good to know how those work and operate if you want to get through these games without too much trouble. Okay, so I didn't actually want to get this laser, but I pretty much had to run into it. I didn't have a choice, unfortunately. It was either that or take a hit. So I went ahead and just ran into the laser. At this point, I think I'll just go ahead and keep the laser. Alright, so we've got 25 pods. That's good. We're getting that number up pretty high. We're gonna need it up pretty high by the time we get to the final stage. That is, if we get to the final stage. Intentionally trying to kill those guys on the left and right, the yellow guys, using my reverse power-up, where I just move in the opposite direction and then shoots towards those guys. That's one reason I like the reverse formation on my pods. Okay, this should be the boss fight. There we go. Alright, 3 stages down. Still doing pretty well. We've got 5 lives. Although, the lives, seriously, aren't even gonna really matter that much. I mean, once I start dying, it's just, Once I start dying, like, the lives don't even matter, because when you die, you lose all your firepower. You're back down to level 1. That includes your little 4-way sort of shuriken shot right here. That goes back down to the very beginning, so much lower fire rate. It's only 1 shot as opposed to 4. And there we go, I took a hit. So it was a good thing that power-up was on screen. You gotta watch out for these guys because they do the lasers, and I wasn't really paying attention to that. I'm trying to figure out how I want to proceed. Do I want to keep this weapon? This is a good weapon. Alright, let's go ahead and do forward. Get a little bit of a wider spread shot going on with my firepower. These guys are going to come up from the bottom. Got to watch out for them. And we took another hit. That's bad. That's actually really bad. Alright, let's grab that. There we go. Whew. Always puts me on edge when I take a hit, because, you know, one more hit after that and I'm dead. And then I lose all my firepower. I'm trying to debate. No, let's go ahead and stick with the laser again. This guy's gonna have a laser attack as well. There we go. Took another hit. Let's go with reverse. That way I can hit him from all the way across the screen. You guys can probably see how this is starting to get pretty tough already. And the difficulty gets cranked up even further on the subsequent stages. I'm also doing a little bit of experimenting here. Normally when I play hard mode, I try to stick with just the blue shield. But I'm experimenting a little bit, trying to see if maybe I can dish out more damage just by using some of these other weapons. because I really have a hard time with things like homing missiles and whatnot, and I'm wondering if maybe I can destroy the homing missiles faster, not these homing missiles, with having more offensive firepower. But you can also really see how these guys are taking so many hits to take out. You know, they're acting like tanks. And that's what's really tough about this. That's what's really tough about MUSHA on hard mode. Alright, so this is where the homing missiles start coming out. And they are a major pain. Alright. Good deal, good deal. Alright, this is where it can all go downhill. I mean, really any other point from this point on, it can all go downhill, but this stage in particular has some pretty brutal sections. Although this laser does seem pretty good at mitigating these homing missiles. And the homing missiles are my biggest concern. I don't even really care if I kill the enemies that have the homing missiles, I just want to kill the homing missiles. Because the homing missiles, that's what's gonna kill me. Alright, so this guy right here has a couple of different attack patterns. It's all based on the color orb that it grabs in its hands. So that green one is a laser. That teal one is a bit of a spread shot. Please die. Please die. Let's go with the reverse. Hopefully they drop a power-up right away. Actually, no, we're gonna go back to free. Free is risky. Got it. Awesome. That was actually really close. I took a hit, lost my shield. And Ooh, that's not good. And we're dead. See? Now it's all downhill now. All downhill. That's 2 deaths. 3 deaths. You can see why the homing missiles are absolutely awful. Man, that's really terrible. I was feeling really good about that too. Alright, main boss, although I don't think we're going to be able to do too much with this, because we are not maxed out on firepower. So basically this face busts open, and then it likes to shoot out lots and lots of homing missiles. So we are maxed out on speed. And we just lost our firepower, and we just died again. Well, we still managed to beat the boss. But, yeah, that's absolutely horrible. We just got wrecked by stage 4. And that's not the first time that's ever happened to me. I mean, that's even happened to me on normal. You know, the game just... If you don't play things just right, it can be extremely difficult to manage. Basically gonna try to let this shield hit the enemies too. That helps a lot. Okay, it'd be nice if I can get this upgraded fully. Because the projectile would definitely help here on this next part. There we go. Oh no, we still have one more level. Okay, it's okay. Took a hit. Got it. And we're dead again. That's bad. So I noticed that there is a form of rank in this game, so as you play better and the more powered up you get, the more difficult the boss patterns are. So maybe a boss at low rank would shoot 4 projectiles in a spread shot, but a boss at high rank would shoot 6 or 7 or 8 or something like that. So I'm noticing that that's been happening on this playthrough. As I've died, bosses have actually gotten easier. Which, in a way, you can actually use that as a strategy to get through the game easier. I don't know if I'd recommend it, because you lose all your firepower. I mean, and that's a huge, like, downside. You definitely do not want to be losing your firepower. Could really use another extra life, but I don't think it's gonna happen. Okay. Alright, this guy can be tough because he's got lots of homing missiles. And we just took a hit. And we took another hit. Wow, and we're dead. Yeah, you can see why I don't like the homing missiles in this game. I absolutely hate them. There's not many things in shmups that I hate, but the homing missiles in MUSHA, I absolutely despise. And that's why. I totally forgot that he does one last, like, desperation attack, and I totally got hit by that. I don't think we would have gotten through the rest of the game anyway. Simply because, you know, we had to go through the final boss and everything, and I usually die there. So, we can try to start it over again. We can try to continue here. I don't think it's gonna work. It's probably no point, really. I mean, even on normal, trying to continue on this final stage can be a bit of a pain. Alright, one boss down. Yeah, and this laser isn't even doing a whole lot of good when it comes to destroying the homing missiles. And we just died. Alright, he's gonna do it once more. Oh, jeez. Absolutely hate these things. Oh, we died again. I have no pods. So you get a game over, you lose all your pods as well. Alright. What did I get hit by? I got hit by something and lost my firepower. Okay, so we need to hit these green pods here while dodging this big ball. I just took a hit. Okay, now we have to just shoot the ball. This is going to be really tough, actually. He drops these projectiles into the walls, and they come out. And if you touch them, you will die. Oh, and of course, if you touch the walls, you die too. Okay, we got it. Alright, so there's gonna be one last final mini-boss, which I would think we could do within 3 lives. So it's this guy again. He basically shoots these lasers down. Shoots out these lasers, you can just sit right under him, and you'll avoid them. But yeah, he's really a cakewalk. He's just kind of like a bonus. And that's pretty much it. We just beat MUSHA on hard mode. Unfortunately, it was kind of a terrible showing after a certain point. I'm really disappointed I got wrecked so badly on stage 4. I mean, dying at least once, somewhat common for me on that stage, but I wasn't expecting to lose like 3 or 4 lives like I did. And that just really sent the rest of the run just straight downhill, you know, in a nosedive. But hey, at least I was able to continue and let you guys see the end of the game. It's definitely not the ideal way to wrap up this Let's Play, but I'll take it. You know, we'll go ahead and just leave it as is. It beats me trying to bang my head against a brick wall trying to get a 1cc live. Something to keep in mind is when I do these Let's Plays, if I have a run that I don't like, I do the whole video over. Like, I lose all the commentary, all that stuff. Any comments I had gets wiped out. And so, when you try recording these multiple times in a row and saying the same things over and over again, many times maybe not as good as you said them the first time around, you know, it starts to get pretty frustrating. So, you know, getting the game over at the last stage, but being able to recover and still beat the game, I'll take it. You know, I'd rather a 1cc, but I'm not going to spend, you know, hours upon hours and days upon days trying to do that. So, I hope you guys enjoyed the playthrough nonetheless. Since we beat it on hard mode, you do get a slightly altered ending with some extra, you know, drawings in the background, which is awesome. And, yeah, still good to revisit this game. It's been quite a few years, I think, since I did my last Let's Play of this. I think it's been at least 3 years, and that was with my old capture setup and whatnot, and we did play the normal difficulty mode, so it was nice being able to show off hard mode. I definitely want to revisit hard mode on a lot of these games I've already done Let's Plays on before. So kind of like with Castlevania Bloodlines a couple weeks ago, and now this, I definitely want to do that more often with some other videos. And also, when I re-record these games, you know, playing on a higher difficulty setting gives me more reason to revisit them, as opposed to just giving you guys duplicate content. But yeah, with capture setup, the capture hardware that's just kind of out of date and whatnot, you know, I really needed to revisit a lot of these old videos I've done in the past, and I'm going to continue to do that, but if I can do something different in the re-record, I will definitely try to do something different in the re-record, so you folks that have been around here a long time don't end up seeing the same playthroughs over and over and over again. But yeah, really great ending theme here. MUSHA's got some of my favorite music from the 16-bit generation. It's just stuff I can zone out to. Kind of keeps me in a certain mood. It's great stuff. I love it. Yeah, it was one of my favorite soundtracks from back then. Yeah, the game holds up pretty well too. I mean, it doesn't actually slow down that much. I mean, there are some very specific parts in Stage 4 and Stage 5 where things just like slow down to a crawl, but that doesn't happen that often in this game. So it's very polished in that regard. It's got a very polished art style as well. The sprite work in this game is quite good, especially for 1990. You know, when you get used to it, the game's pretty fun. I wouldn't say it's like the most fun out there that you can have with the shmup genre, but I think the big draw to MUSHA is how it meshes the visual style with the audio, and it just times it all together properly. Like I said, it's kind of like a cinematic shmup experience, or cinematic by 1990 standards, and I think the game's really worth playing, you know, to experience that. Not many shooters were able to get that and, you know, convey, you know, cinematic sort of elements and whatever. I don't even know where I'm going with this. I'm not even explaining it properly, surely. But yeah, it's not about the super fast-paced dodging, although on that final stage there on hard mode, trying to dodge those missiles was a nightmare, and you guys saw me weaving in and out, and it's stressful in those situations where that happens. But if you play this on normal difficulty, you don't really have to do that. There's not a whole lot of that on the normal difficulty. And like I said, I've got playthroughs of the normal difficulty. If you guys want to see that, they're older playthroughs with lower video quality. But they are on my channel, so feel free to check those out if you're interested in seeing what normal is like. But yeah, MUSHA is it's a pretty expensive game these days, to put it lightly. I would recommend playing this on a flash card or via emulation or something like that. But you should play it. You should probably give it a shot. If you're a fan of shmups and you haven't played this, I definitely recommend giving it a try. And yeah, you know, I'm going to try to come back and do some other shmups that I've done in the past. Like, I know I did Thunder Force 4, aka Lightning Force in North America. I'd like to try that on the hardest difficulty mode and see what that's going to entail. But if I can do that on the hardest difficulty, then I think we'll definitely do a playthrough of that. And there's a couple of other shmups on the Genesis as well that I've done previous Let's Plays on that I'd like to redo with higher difficulty settings. So I'll take a look at my list and kind of see what I can try to tackle in the future, and we'll just go from there. So that's pretty much going to do it for us, guys. This video was just under an hour long. Wow, even with the game over, I'm surprised. But I'd like to say thanks for watching. If you guys like this video, feel free to give it a thumbs up. Give it a thumbs down if you absolutely hated it. If you're brand new to my channel, consider subscribing. I've got a ton of Let's Plays on my channel, and I do weekly retro live streams as well. So feel free to hang out, tune in and hang out on those and say hello. To everyone else that's already typically watching and already subbed, thank you guys for your usual support. Hope you guys continue to enjoy these videos, and until the next one, take it easy.